Okay.
Hi everybody. I hope you can see me. Hi. So Michael asked me to come today and teach a restorative yoga class. So I think you've done some restorative yoga with Michael before. You may notice a few differences. I don't talk a lot in restorative yoga. Partly it's just because I find when I'm practicing restorative yoga, it's a short time to be in relative silence. And I find that once I get into poses, then I just need some space to settle in, and I don't need people to be talking. So that's just like a personal preference. And some people find it challenging to be still and to be silent. So those are some of the, well, I'll talk a little bit about restorative yoga, but just first, let's talk about props so that as I introduce it, we can already be starting to get settled. So you can do this in your bed. That might be the best place because you'll already have all the props you need there. Otherwise, if you have a yoga mat or somewhere, some surface to lie on that's got enough cushion so that your body feels supported. So Michael has his yoga mat, and then we have 2 pillows. 1 pillow will work, but ideally 2 pillows. And then I have 2 blankets. So again, as many of these props as you have is great. You can do restorative yoga without any props too. But this just helps to make it a bit cozier. The other thing that you're going to need is, or if you want this, is something to cover your eyes. So if you have an eye pillow, it's got some sand or, I don't know what else is in here, buckwheat or something like that. So it gives you a bit of weight on your eyes. And if you have ever had the sensation of closing your eyes but feel like they're still fluttering, I know I feel like that a lot. This just like gives your eyes and your eyelids a bit of weight so that you can kind of like stop that form of movement as well. Okay, so, and if you don't have that, then anything, scarf, towel, rag, sock, anything like that, okay? And then if it doesn't make you feel comfortable, or if it feels unsafe to close your eyes, then of course you don't need to do that, right? So all of these things are just suggestions. The reason that I really like restorative yoga is because it works for pretty much everybody's body. I mean, regular yoga should as well, but sometimes we feel like we have to fit our bodies into these strange shapes. And instead with restorative yoga, I like to think about it as needing to fit our bodies. So that's why we have all these props, so that we can do the poses that work for our bodies instead of trying to fit our bodies into some expected shape, okay? The other thing about restorative yoga is that it takes us, and I don't know about you, but for me, I'm often in my sympathetic nervous system. So, you know, when you're out in the world and you're really busy, maybe overtired, feeling stressed out, you're often in your sympathetic nervous system. It's that fight or flight system that keeps us alive, but sometimes it's turned on too much. And so we need to have a break from that. And so moving into your parasympathetic nervous system means that you're able to rest and digest. So we're kind of slowing down or quieting one and allowing the space, the pause, the not doing, just the being part that we often leave till the very end, or not at all, okay? So if you feel comfortable, then let's just lie. I'm sort of overshadowing Mike for a second.
It's all good.
what we're gonna do is lie down. You don't need any of your props right now. We're just gonna kind of get some of our energy out. So I'm gonna lie down flat, but I'm gonna have my legs in a V and my arms in a V. So I'm sort of looking like an X. Okay, and so I'm gonna stretch out in those 4 directions, okay, as long as you can, maybe pointing your toes. And then curl up, bring your knees into your chest, arms wrap around the front of your legs, giving yourself a hug. And then let's open up again, wide, reaching. Michael, you might want to take over now. So reaching out. Yeah.
Just if we have someone that's dealing with an injury too.
Oh, okay.
So just in terms of like if they're feeling pain or like
Yes. Okay. So Michael just said that maybe there are some people that have injuries. So if you want to ask me about those and I can see how can we make things as comfortable for you as possible, please speak up. I can't see you very well, but please just ask. Otherwise, like all of these practices, to never be moving into pain. So as soon as I feel pain backing off of that, maybe not doing whatever it is that's being suggested, you can always go into Shavasana, so just lying flat. I think everybody knows that pose if you want to take a break, okay? So one more time, let's stretch out arms and legs. Take a couple breaths there. And then knees come into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Maybe rocking gently from side to side. Nice. And then when you're ready, let's roll gently over onto one side. We're going to transition out of poses slower than you would in a regular asana yoga class. Then when you're ready, in your own time, so feel free to stay in these poses longer or come out early, we'll just come back to sit up. And in those transitions, trying not to undo any of the relaxation that we have addressed in those poses. So really, really moving slowly, okay? And even maybe trying to keep your gaze sort of blurry a bit so that you're not, focusing in on stimulating other parts of your thinking process. All right, so we're going to lie down again, but I'm going to take a blanket, maybe...
You want me out of the way?
No. So I'm going to take a blanket, maybe move out of the way just for a second. I should have gotten blankets that didn't match the mat. So something for your head, but not probably a pillow because that will make your chin dip in towards your chest. So we want to have not the chin pointing up or the chin pointing down, but just a little bit of padding you might like for your head. So go ahead and place that there and then you can lie down. If you want to use your eye pillow, then you can take that and place it. Henry's going to be my helper today.
He's always the helper.
Okay. And have a pillow. Now I'm helping Michael, but so you're going to have to do this for yourself. Take a pillow and we're going to place it, bending the legs. We're just going to place it under your knees and then set your legs back down. And just allowing the body to open up. So Michael's legs, his heels are kind of out towards the edges of his mat. The pillow is supporting his sort of from the middle of his thigh to the mid-calf. And toes are kind of falling out towards the side. Okay? And then consider having your arms just resting gently at your side. If your palms can be open, then that allows your shoulders to fall back and down towards the mat or the mattress. And then let's just take an inhale through the nose. Opening the lips and sigh. Let's try that again. Inhaling your deepest breath through the nose. And then exhale and sigh. And if you are stuffed up or your airflow is restricted, then opening the mouth is fine and breathing in and out that way. So now we're just going to settle in. This is a yoga practice of, on the outside, not doing very much. But on the inside, this can be a really challenging practice. So just taking a few minutes, focusing on the breath, especially focusing on the exhale. So thinking about the exhale getting really heavy. With each exhale, trying to allow the floor or the mattress to take your weight. Allow your legs to get heavy on the pillow. See if you are holding any tension in your arms. Just noticing that. If you can, exhale that. Let it go a bit. But if it still feels tight, if it doesn't feel relaxing, it's not a question of doing it wrong. It's really a practice in being still and seeing what happens. And so sometimes it's just a recognition that we are maybe overstimulated, dealing with a lot of emotion. And so whatever happens in the next kind of 40 minutes, to just notice that. And just like you do with meditation, just letting it be. In the stillness, you may notice that your mind starts to speed up. Trying to think about focusing on where your body is touching the surface of the mat, the props. So restorative poses are held for at least 3 minutes, sometimes a lot longer than that. So some of these early poses will hold for a shorter period of time, and then they'll get longer. Again, you can come in and out of these poses whenever you're ready, so this is your practice. We're going to start to transition out of this pose. Like I said, going really slow in your own time. I'm just guiding you. So when you are ready to move, let's start by bringing the knees into your chest. And giving yourself a hug, just like we did when we were stretching out in the starfish. Maybe rocking side to side. And again, as we transition, wanting to be careful not to start to create tension in our bodies, right? Because we're undoing what we were trying to do. And then when you're ready, just rocking over onto one side. And here, take a few breaths. making the transitions as important as the poses. Again, when you're ready, then we'll slowly come back up to a seated posture. All right, so the next pose that we're going to do is called constructive rest. I'll just show you sideways and then we'll set Michael up. I think you can see this. So I'm lying down, my knees are bent, and then I'm gonna have my feet wider than my hips. So if you have a yoga mat, almost as wide as your yoga mat, but you know, going based on your body and what feels comfortable. And as I have my feet wider than my hips, my knees just naturally start to fall towards each other. And here, right now I'm feeling like, based on this shape, my legs can just kind of rest there, okay, and hold themselves up. The other thing you can do, if you have a strap, if you've been using that, is that you can use it around the middle of your thighs, and that will help to hold your legs in place, okay? You, just like you did in the last pose, an eye pillow and a blanket at the top of the mat for your head is probably what you will want. And then you don't need any other props, except for you might want a blanket. And actually, I should have done this for you the last pose. So let's lie back. Here's your eye pillow. Okay, so feet are as wide as the mat, knees are coming in towards each other. They do not need to touch, but just to feel like that you're not holding them up. Okay, so checking in here, I'm gonna cover Michael with the blanket. So if you would like a blanket, if you're feeling chilly at all, and as you lay there, you may feel like that, just to cover yourself up with a blanket. And then check in here. How does your neck feel on that surface? If you feel like your chin is pointing up towards the ceiling or is pointing down towards your chest, then see if you can arrange things so that your forehead and your chin are sort of on the same level, okay? It means that I don't have wrinkles in the back of my neck and I don't have wrinkles in the front of my neck. Okay, and then let's take another inhale and sigh. If the palms can be up, if that feels comfortable, that will allow your shoulders to open. Otherwise, whatever makes you feel like you can relax your arms. So focusing on the breath, but you don't need to be manipulating the breath at all. It doesn't need to be these big, deep breaths like we do at the start to settle. Just allow the breath to flow, but still thinking on the exhale of getting heavy. If thoughts come into your mind about maybe what you need to do after this, things that happened before, just see if you can give yourself the gift, the space that will be there when you are done. Just coming back to feeling heaviness in the body. Feel where your body comes in contact with the props. Tuning back into the breath. Let's take another couple of rounds here. And then we're going to prepare to transition to another pose. So when you feel ready, you can start to walk your feet in towards each other. So narrowing the space between your feet. And once again, when you're ready, inhaling your knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Going slow so we don't create tension. Let's roll gently over onto one side. Take a couple breaths here. And then when you're ready, slowly come back up to a seated posture. All right, so for this one, we're going to need 2 pillows and a blanket. I'm just trying to figure out the angle so that you can see what we're doing. All right, so wherever the top is for you, we'll have 1 pillow there. And then, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches from the bottom of that first pillow, you'll have a second pillow. Okay? And then I'm sitting with my hip up against that second pillow. I might take one of the blankets and place it between my knees before I even lay down. And if I'm going to want to have a blanket on top of me, then I can gather that up too, okay? All right, so I'm sitting up tall here. This pillow, this one that's closest to my hip, is going to support my rib cage, essentially, my side body here. So I'm just gonna lay myself down, my side onto that. My arm gets to go into this little gap that we've created, and then my head is on the pillow. Okay, this arm, some people like to put it over their head, like kind of over their ear, and then it touches down on the floor. So you could try that. Some people just have their arm resting on top of their side. Some people put their arm here. I like to actually we don't have an extra blanket, but if I did, or an extra pillow, I like to actually hold on to it like this. So you decide what you need to feel comfy here. But basically we want to make a space for our shoulder and our arm to be between these pillows, okay? So let's have Michael come in here. It might work better for you to just do it like this so people can see.
I can do it here.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that blanket there for his knees. And then a blanket to cover. All right. So each person can check in and just see how this pose feels. If it doesn't feel comfortable enough for you to be able to settle there or to stay in that place, then please ask or go back to one of the other poses that we've done that's working better for you today. But feel free to ask, okay? So just checking in to make sure you don't feel like your head is tipped, you know, your neck is out of alignment. If it does feel like that, you may need to move your head up a bit or down. And then once you get into a spot that feels good, then let's take another inhale and let it out. Feeling heavy. So as you allow your body to be still here, the mind may speed up. So just noticing that, and then trying to come back to the feel of your body being supported by the ground, by your bed, by the pillows and blankets, and by the community that you and Michael have created. One of the most beautiful parts of this practice, and one of the most difficult parts, if you ask me, is being able to allow yourself to be supported. And that can be really hard. To let go, to open up, to trust. So how do I support? And if you're someone who supports everyone else, how do I allow myself to be supported so that I can continue to support other people? So we'll stay here for another minute. Take 2 more breaths here. So when you're ready, use your arm, your top arm, to gently press yourself back up to a seated posture. And let's sit up and face away from the pillows. Okay. And then we'll turn to face the other direction. So all your props can stay as they are, the pillows. And then let's bring this blanket for your knees. Okay, and then lying back down so your torso folds over the pillow in the middle of the mat. And allowing yourself to be supported. Now this side could feel different. So you might need different supports on one side that you didn't need on the other. So just being mindful of that. All right, now that we're on the second side, let's take a deliberate inhale and exhale it out. Restless, and acknowledging that, seeing if you can let that settle. Take a few more breaths here. We're going to start to come back to the breath. Preparing to come out of this pose and back up to a seated posture in your own time. Try not to create tension. we're still awake. So, slowly, when you're ready, coming back up. All right, so final pose. You will want something for your head, so I'll put the blanket back up there. The eye pillow is close within reach, and a blanket is close by for once you get settled. So if you have 2 pillows, this, you will need 2 pillows for this. So hopefully everybody has 2 pillows. If not, we could use 2 blankets. We just need something. I'll show you what we're doing. So, and then Michael will get into this. So this is the pose that we sometimes do in yoga. And in order to make it restorative, we need to allow ourselves to be supported by the props. So this could be blankets coming in here, towels, couch cushions, and so this is just allowing me to have more support. The other way you could do this is like that, if you only have 1 pillow, okay? But we want to be in, maybe you even have your heels down here. This isn't a pose where we want to be feeling like we're stretching or that we're exerting effort or that we're creating tension. So that's why we need props to make ourselves, we're not going to be as open as we otherwise would be. So props so that your feet can be closer together, knees can be spread wide, and then once you're there and you feel like you have enough support on either side to feel like you're held and I'm not being held up, then I'm going to lie down with my head on the blanket and my eye pillow. So we'll let Michael come into that. If anyone has any questions, I hope that's clear, but please ask. So knees are wide, feet are together. You don't need to have your heels really close to your body. We're not trying to make this a stretch at all, no effort. And then really patting the knees and hips so that your legs aren't too wide. So if I feel any kind of stretch or resistance or tension here, then it means I need more support, right? So then, can I take this?
Yeah.
Then I might need 2 pillows, okay? Whatever it takes so that you feel supported. And again, the other way to do it is 1 pillow, feet come together. It doesn't have to be right together, but coming towards each other, knees falling apart, okay? Good. So once you're there, we'll settle down, make sure that you have support for your head. And if you're chilly, a blanket to cover. So this is going to be a longer hold in this position. So it'll be our last one. And so feel free to just stay in this if you feel like, you need some more restfulness, then feel free to stay after the class is over. So for the last time, let's take an inhale and release. So hopefully that ability to settle in these postures grows, maybe throughout the class or maybe over time as you continue to practice it. Like anything, being able to settle is a practice and a muscle in a way that you need to exercise, and this is how you can do that. the surface of the props. Maybe stretching the legs out, allowing the arms to stretch as well. Again, moving very slowly, and feel free to stay just as you are at any point. When you're ready, let's bring the knees into your chest. And then in your time, slowly moving over onto one side. Resting here. And when you're ready, we'll slowly come up to a seated position. And then just taking a moment to feel how that practice landed in your body. There's no right or wrong way to feel, just noticing that. And then closing this practice, maybe by thanking yourself, thanking the community, and that's it.
Can I thank the dog that tried to wake me up in the last pose?
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you, Krista.
You're welcome.
Namaste.
Namaste.
You too. If anybody has any questions, you're free to ask, but also just take time to feel whatever you're feeling now, and maybe that can carry forward into the rest of your evening.
I feel restored, thank you. Anything out there from anyone, or should we quietly sign off and let you just kind of drift on?
Stop. I don't understand how parts of my body we didn't even engage feel better.
Great. That's awesome.
How did that happen?
Well, I think it's like it's calming your entire nervous system
In a way that sleep doesn't,
so
or does differently.
So I think that that can allow every part of your body to kind of rest, because you're accepting the support of the props. So even though you're not necessarily, say, like in the last pose, you're not really doing anything with your arms, or you're not really doing anything with your head, we were focused on your legs. Every part of your body is being supported by props in that position, right? It's just that for every other part of your body, it's the ground. So I don't know that it matters exactly where we're focusing. It's just that your overall system is able to settle down, and if that means that every part of your body feels restored, then that's amazing.
It is. It's a good thing, because I have a gig tonight and I was really anxious about it. Now I'm not.
Amazing.
Anxious about everything.
Amazing. Good job.
Thank you. See if that plays out throughout the night.
Yeah. Good luck.
Break a leg?
Thanks.
Don't break a leg.
Don't break a leg.
Don't break a leg.
No, that's, to me, I've broken so many things in the last year, we don't want to say that.
No.
there is something energetically like about this too. Like you can see that like this dog would never just come in and settle in like this, which I actually don't think is really about her so much as about the energy that the humans in the room have. It is really it's something. But by the way, if I can make a little plug here, although that was super restful for me today, should also say that if it wasn't restful for you, you weren't necessarily there's nothing wrong there. Like asana, like meditation, like life, it's a practice, and some practices will kind of be more intuitive, and you can fall into them. Like it sounds like that was how it landed for you, Deb. But I know I really, well, you remember too, I really, it took me a long while to access this practice, to kind of give it up. And I don't think that there's necessarily a set of instructions. It's just kind of, like everything else, coming back, trying again, coming back, trying again. So we will post this, obviously, so that, you can come back and try it again.
All right. I think I managed to memorize this one, though.
Yeah,
Good.
it's not very there. That's the thing about restorative. There aren't that many poses. Hi.
Well, best of luck tonight, and well, best of luck to everyone tonight, whatever the night holds for you. Barring any other questions or comments, maybe we'll leave it there, and next week we meditate, and we're gonna tie together our 5 aggregates series, the 5th aggregate, which is consciousness. So there you go. Although I was saying, I don't know if you might not have heard what we were doing last week, but this restorative practice, I think, is if you sat meditation with us last week, or even if you didn't and you were checking out the video after the fact, this restorative practice is very much an analog to what we were trying to do in the meditative state last week. So there's that too.
Very good.
Thanks. All right, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care.
Be well.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you, dogs. Oh my goodness, you're so silly.